Hey, Alice, welcome back. You came at a good time. We have a very special guest with us, Matt West. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm really glad to be here.
Yeah, man. I saw you hosting that open mic at Holistic,
Yeah.
and I was like, this dude's funny as shit. So I been looking forward to talking to you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Holistic is where I get the most unhinged because it just doesn't matter. I'm usually a little bit more organized than that, but Holistic's just a shit show. So I was just, what I mean? I was just spitting off stuff just to
Yeah,
see if it like I like that room because nothing matters there. And like I've went in there and done 45 minutes straight in that room
oh shit.
because it didn't matter. It's like five people, but it's like it's a good room to like get work in. And I've created a lot of jokes that have became, you know, crowd favorites in that room. I developed they were born there. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just one of those places where you can just go say some things out loud. I'm not one of those. I think there might be comedians that like practice in the mirror or when they're by themselves saying it out loud,
yeah.
but I've just never been one. I can't do it. It makes me feel weird looking at myself in the mirror and just saying my line or my joke.
I feel like doing it that way too. You're not gonna know if it's actually like if it's gonna hit or not unless you're in front of people.
Yeah, yeah. I guess getting the validation from seeing somebody laugh on it. If you
Yeah,
if you can make a comic laugh who sees you all the time, like that usually means it's a good joke. Because like I go out 5 nights a week, and there's a whole crew of us that do. And I see all these people every night, and a lot of us are running the same jokes. You know what I mean? To try to get them down, so we
yeah.
see the same. We see that everybody's set multiple times a week. So if you can make them laugh when they see you 5, 6 nights a week, that's how you know you got something going. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because
So I
they already
mean,
know the material, and if it still gets them, that's a good joke.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
because comics are sad people. You know what I mean? Like they are, and they're like, uh, that's probably if there's 15 people in the room and 14 of them are comics when you're doing a set, that's an awful time. You know, because you're like, oh, there's all these people here. But it's like I said, all these people that you see 5 nights a week.
is it largely supportive or is it competitive?
It's weird. So it's political for no reason. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Because all we're doing most of the time is just going to bars and talking about our feelings.
yeah,
But there's some like I don't know. There's some like politics that are involved with the whole thing, and there's a little bit of drama, but it's not.
mm,
To me, it seems real stupid. It's a very cutthroat industry. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I've seen like people start. I've seen comedians give other comedians like platforms on their big shows, right? And then they go and start doing competitive shows with the
yeah.
people that brought them on.
Hmm.
I've seen that happen, and it's weird.
They don't give back. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. There's like weird tension sometimes, and
yeah.
there's a lot of weird shit that happens. We're all just a bunch of like I said, sad adults
It's
trying to become famous.
Yeah, I'm more familiar with the music scene here, which is similar. It can be really like clicky and competitive, where it's like these bands play together at these venues and they don't play at other venues with other people, which is
Yeah, I
like,
mean, there's like people will put on shows, and they'll put on these big shows, and they'll only book their like people they're like it's in
yeah,
their circle. So they're like a I don't know. They're just like a band of people that puts on shows that puts each other on. It's
hmm,
funny, because
it's counterproductive. Like that's not really helping people by doing
I
that.
mean, it really comedy is not it's not a team sport,
Mm,
like honestly it's not. So everybody's coming out for themselves, but they have like certain allegiances. But at the end of the day, what matters is, are you funny? you know
yeah, I
that's the thing. And I think I've been I grind really hard to try to make sure that I'm funny. I don't
yeah,
try to play the political game or I kiss people's ass and do all this. And you know what I mean? I just don't do any of that. I'm just going grind. And then I don't really ask to be booked on shows.
Yeah.
You know, when people are putting on shows, I wait till I get asked. Because there's a lot of comedians out here that will hit up everybody that's booking the show and beg to get on it. You know what I mean? And I just don't want to be known for that. I just want people to be like, damn, that guy's funny. I would like to have him on my show. You know? So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I strive for.
I feel like even if someone's like snubs somebody for a show, it really doesn't like benefit you to be bitchy towards that person because there might be opportunities in the future. It's like even if someone else is being a
jerk. I mean, but there's so many. There's a lot of dynamics too. You know what I mean? Like there recently was some comedians that fist fought.
Oh, okay.
Like physically fought at a show. You know what I mean? Because there's like that's what I'm saying. There's other dynamics. Like sometimes money gets involved.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then there's sometimes like people are trying to ruin other people's reputation. It gets toxic. But I don't really. I'm not really involved with.
It's like broke ass Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I found I was producing shows there for a while, and I had 3 shows that I was producing, and I ran into some issues with some comics over a venue. Reached out, tried to work with them, but they just, we couldn't come to an agreement on it, which is fine. And I just didn't do the show there, but I inadvertently stepped on somebody's toes, but I was trying to work with them at the same time because I just wanted more comedy, and they weren't really about it. And there was some tension there, so that kind of backed up. And I really, after that incident, because this particular person is somebody you just didn't want to get into it with in the comedy scene, so I just bowed out and let it go. And then I just kind of quit producing shows after that because I was like, I'm just trying to have fun here, and like it's not about trying to fuck anybody over or anything like that. I was just trying to make a little money off the show and have a place where comics can go be funny. You know what I'm saying? Because Zanies is the only club in town, so the independent comedy scene, it's hard to get in there, right? So like the independent comedy scene is where we become better comedians. So if I expand that, which I was trying to do, I expand that and give more comedians more opportunity to be seen. Because I mean, the shows that I put on, I mean, they were pretty big. I had 60, 70 people. Damn. That would come out, and I was helping the Don't Tell comedy. Don't Tell is. So Don't Tell is like a comedy production that's like run by comics, but it's like nationally known. Oh, okay. And like you have to be on an email list to get. It's a secret location. If you're on the email list, you get emailed and the location, and they always sell out. And like a lot of big names, like comedians will do those too. So nice. I was helping them book venues. I was really just trying to create spaces for us. And then I just kind of had this weird situation with this person, and I was like, what am I doing this for? I'm just running myself ragged, and it's like a thankless job, because your comedian friends are getting work, but it's like you've put in all of this effort, and you get, sometimes you're able to break even, sometimes you'll make a little bit of money, but you don't make it. You want to make sure the comics get paid. I did anyway, So you're taking care of them, but I was taking care of them. I was basically breaking even money wise, but I would have to dedicate a lot of time to it, to the promotion, to the booking, all that stuff. I have noticed that compared to bands, like comics are really bad at promoting their shows. Me and David were talking about that the other day. It's like he was actually explaining to me that it's like you want to like put a list of shows up just to show that you're doing things, but you don't necessarily want to like plug every show individually that you go to. And I guess that makes sense. It's just very different from the way bands here do it, where it's like, if they're playing somewhere, about it like 3 times before the show happens. Yeah. So, I mean, comedy promotion it's lacking. I mean, I had to do it, and I was not great at it. I mean, like I didn't like Because at the time I was teaching cooking classes 4 days a week and doing these like 7 course limited seating dinners like
Oh shit.
on Friday and Saturday. And like I had a lot going on my plate, and then I was producing 3 shows like at the same time as doing
Damn.
all this. So it just got to be too much.
When was your first open mic? How long you been doing this?
My first one was like 2019, right before COVID.
I got you. You've been on it for a while.
Yeah,
I mean, that shows, man. Like you, you're really good at it.
well, thank you, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
it. Sometimes I have trouble believing that. You know?
you're funny on the fly because you were when I saw you, you weren't even doing like sets exactly. You were doing like a minute or two in between comedians, like hosting it, and you were so fucking savage. I was like, damn, this is fucking raw as fuck. But it felt like I could feel the love. It's like also I feel like with comics, you want to like if you don't have a thick skin, if you can't take that, then you're probably
Oh,
not in the right place.
yeah, I was murdering people too.
You were.
I'm gonna grab my vape.
Yeah, yeah, no, you you were, dude. It's funny because I write poetry, but I hesitated to even say that to you now. The way you fucking murked that girl that did
Well, sometimes I mean
poetry.
I write poetry too, man, and I love it. You know, I
Yeah.
do slam like I'll go and do the slam poetry open mics too. I'll never let anybody see that because it's just for me. You know, what I
Yeah.
mean, that's one of those things I don't like. It's raw because if you notice, like my comedy is very raw, and then if I'm doing the serious side of it, how raw that is.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Damn. Yeah, I bet that is fucking very
yeah,
vulnerable.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's when
I
it's
guess comedy is kind of a similar thing where you have to be extremely vulnerable. You got to be willing to be laughed at, like in a good way, and also like be ready to bomb. Like be ready to not be received. It's very vulnerable. It takes a lot of balls to do that.
yeah, dude. Like, and I've got to the point where like if I bomb, fuck them. You know,
Yeah.
because here's the thing: public speaking is the number one phobia in the world. People
Really?
fear they fear public speaking over death.
Shit,
Like
dude.
that's no
They'd
shit.
rather die
They
than
would rather die
wow.
than to go talk in front of
Damn, that's
people.
wild.
So if I go up there and bomb and they don't laugh, I'm doing something that 99% of the
They
people
couldn't
that
do
are
it.
watching me could not do.
Yeah,
So if you don't want to laugh, at the very least, I'm showing you what the fuck I'm about. You
for
know what I mean?
sure.
I ain't scared of shit. And with that mentality, it's like even if I bomb, dude, I went up there and I feel better after I do it. It's
Yeah.
like it's a release for me. Comedy going and doing that. Like even if it never turns into anything, and I'm just an angry guy yelling into a microphone, I feel so much better after I do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm a chef. I work a very stressful job, and I have to be. I have jokes about this, but I have to be like professional, and you know what I'm saying. And I deal with a lot of things that are just irritating.
Mm.
And I can't hold it all in. Like I'm the nicest guy in the world at work, and then I go to these mics and let that pressure off. Like shit, like because in my head I'm like, this is how I would handle this if this was the real world. Like fuck you, bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's good for me. And I've met a lot of great people that have added so much to my life, dude. Like because I do comedy, I was able to get a new car. I was able to find a place to live like within 3 hours. I posted like I had a situation back in October where I had paid rent, and then my landlord 2 days after I'd paid rent was like, "Hey, you got 30 days to get out. I'm selling the house."
Oh
Hit
shit.
me with a short notice. I posted on Instagram
Damn.
that I needed a place to stay or needed a new place to move to. And within 3 hours, I had secured another room to move to, and I moved the next day. It was fucking beautiful. you know what
That's
I mean?
awesome, man.
Yeah, and that was because of the comedy community. Like
Yeah.
there was they've taken care of me in a lot of ways, man. Like
Community is priceless.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
like
can't put a value on that.
yeah.
Yeah. It's so lacking today too. Like a lot of people don't have that. Like a lot of people, even though like we're so connected now, everyone is so isolated and no one really has that
Well,
kind of
so
community.
the theory behind that is like, as a society since the 70s, like we've slowly eroded our third place. So the third place is the place that people would go to decompress after, like there's two places that you have to go, work and home
Oh, I got you.
The third place is like, was like a public meeting place where you would meet.
Like Cheers, like a
Yeah, exactly like that.
yeah.
So we don't have those places anymore. Everybody's so, you know what I mean? You don't have to go. You can see any movie you want. You don't have to leave your house now.
Yeah.
Back then, you had to. And the third place was just like, I feel like everybody would hit the bar after work, or like people were more church oriented, so then they would have like church events where they would go have meetings, and people are all pulling away from all that, and they're working from home, like
I've
stuff
never
like
heard this
that.
concept before, a third
Yeah,
place, but it's true.
yeah,
It's either church or a bar or a
and
club.
as we lose, since we've lost that in our society, like there's a whole there's a whole research thing about this. I'm not going to say it. I don't know the source.
You're a professional on this. You're very
What?
you are the sort. No, I'm just
Right. Yeah.
I'm counting.
But no,
I'm
if
what
you
you're
look
saying.
up third place theory,
No, don't look it up. Just take his word for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's just we're starting to forget how to socialize with each other. Like nobody will answer. Like everybody's terrified of a phone call now.
Oh, dude, yeah, I get a lot of anxiety. I can't even like people send me memes on Instagram. I get anxiety just even looking at memes, like opening up my DMs on there.
They're there to induce anxiety, and I'm strung out on them too. I doom scroll so much, and it's just it sucks because I'm fully aware of what's happening, and then like, but I've got to do it because I'm addicted to it, and I can say that it sucks, and I'm trying to like unplug from that.
It's fucking hard.
Yeah. So today I had a meeting with a guy that owns a farm, and he's got a whole setup out there for me to start doing some gardening classes and maybe canning and stuff like that. So I don't know. And I was able to get that connection through comedy as well.
Nice.
Like he had a place that he was renting out. I ultimately didn't go with the place, but he was telling me about this farm, and I was like, hey, I used to do that. Let's work something out. And that's because of comedy. My girlfriend that I have now is she's just been doing comedy for like 2 months, but I met her doing comedy. Right. Now we are together, and it's pretty awesome. Comedy's given me a lot. And like I said, even if I don't ever make it as a damn, selling out arenas type of comedian, these connections I've made are priceless, really.
And what you're pointing out too is like what it does for you as a person.
Yeah, because like fortunately for me, because there's some people that do comedy that are insane, that like one day when they realize that they are not gonna make it, they're so invested in making it that when they have that realization one day, they might kill themselves. You know what I mean?
It's like, well, you're in the long run of work, dude. There ain't no money in that.
So like,
you gotta. I feel like something like that, you got to do it because you love it. You can't, if you're trying to make money, you go do anything else. Anything else.
Yeah, but I don't know. I hope everybody makes it, but the reality is some of us aren't.
1% probably.
And I mean, like,
I don't even know what that means. Make it, because it's like
where you're doing, like, look, when you start headlining clubs, and you're talking when you're doing headlining sets at clubs doing 1 hour,
that's making it
5,000 show.
Sure. But I think about like bands that go on tour, do 20, 30, 40 shows in a couple months, and then break even, like barely make it back home, and it's like, I imagine it's probably similar for comics. Even once you're at the point where you can tour, it's like well,
the good thing
it's not like you're getting rich, like it's a job, like you're making money, but like survival money, not.
I didn't, man, like that's the thing with comedy. There's no middle class comics.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
I
It's
got
like
you.
you're either,
Interesting.
yeah, like that's the thing. And there's not comics making 60,000 a year. It's so extreme. It's
Interesting.
one or
Okay.
the other, right? And
Okay.
with the social media, that's given that helps give people so much different sources of revenue,
Mm,
so they're able to like all it takes is like really just going viral a couple times with your
yeah.
shit on online and you're good. um yeah, it's weird, dude. It's a weird thing, man.
Interesting. I didn't know that. There's definitely like middle class bands.
I
I guess
know.
not. They're just poor.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
there's people that play like these that will as bands will travel around and go play the clubs
Hmm.
in different cities and make a decent living. In comedy, it's not.
You're
You know what I
either
mean?
making it or you're not. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
there's
Okay.
two routes. It's like the best route is like featuring for a big headliner and getting seen that way. Like they take you with you, so they'll you'll get paid. I don't know. That's where you start making a little bit of money, but
That's okay. I got you. But that doesn't last long.
yeah, I
You're
mean,
either not going to get gigs like that again, or you're going to be headlining soon.
right. I
Kind
mean,
of.
like
Okay.
if you have a good headliner that takes you for a while, like one of your friends or something, like, and they're going on a big tour, like, yeah, I mean, because they'll do like 4 or 5 shows in a weekend, right?
Mhm.
And it's just stupid,
That's a
man.
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Uh,
How long you been here, Nashville?
I moved down here in 2017, but I lived in Wyoming for a year and came back around 2022 to 2023.
I got you.
Yeah, and I had a great time out there. That's where I picked up doing comedy again, was out there, because I'd done it a little bit before COVID, and COVID happened.
Mm,
And then while I was out west, I went and hit some clubs and did some comedy sets while I was out there in Colorado, Fort Collins, and
okay.
Salt Lake.
Where'd you
Um,
grow up at?
I grew up in Kentucky,
Oh, okay.
right? So
Got you.
I'm from like Eastern Kentucky area. I spent most of my life in Bowling Green, though.
Right on.
Yeah.
What brought you here ultimately? Was it
Oh,
work or comedy?
oh man, what brought me to Nashville?
Yeah.
Man, it was I was going through a lot of shit, man. I used to be involved in some things I shouldn't have been involved with, and shit got real crazy, and I needed to leave.
I got you.
Like
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
like nothing had happened. I mean, a lot had happened, but like I wasn't like in trouble with anybody or with the law or anything. It's just like I was in a very just dark spot,
Bad path. Yeah.
and I was like, I'm gonna end up in a bad place if I continue to live this way. And I was like, well, I gotta leave. So my friend that lived down here, I hadn't been in restaurants in a long time. I'd been doing some other things, like I owned a farm for a while, um, and ended up losing that through crazy circumstances. And then I came down here to start over, basically. So
Did you grow up with religion?
yeah,
Both your parents or
yeah. Well, my dad wasn't around, but my mom and her side of the family were very religious.
what kind of Christian?
Southern Baptist.
I assume it's not you didn't grow up I don't know, Hindu. Yeah.
No, no, I am a
Being
Tibetan.
in Kentucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a Tibetan Buddhist today, though.
Oh shit. Oh,
Yeah,
well, we're definitely gonna talk about that for
yeah.
sure. Oh man. Okay, like Book of the Dead. That is that Tibetan Buddhism?
No, the Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad
Okay.
Gita. Yeah,
I got you. I've actually got a copy somewhere. I've never read it, but
that's good stuff, man.
I'm very interested to know more about that. That's definitely a topic for this show. Uh, but okay. Is your mom still religious?
My mom died.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, yeah. She died about 10 years ago. But she is. I think once I got past my teenage years, she kind of dropped the facade
Hmm,
because she was kind of into it. You know what I mean? Like she just.
I got you.
So when I was young, she it was very important to her that she came off as a godly person and like she raised me that way. But once I kind of got old enough to understand the world and kind of see how fucked up it was, I think she kind of let off of it. My grandmother tried to make me be a Baptist preacher there for a while. So that was a weird experience. So I
There's a
had to meet.
timeline where you're a Baptist preacher, right?
Yeah, I know, right? So now, like, I'm kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's still
I'm
a
just
sermon.
saying fuck and shit. And, you know what I
I
mean?
feel that,
Goddamn.
man. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness,
Oh
and
man,
I did a lot of like knocking on doors and
are you one of
public speak.
those?
Oh yeah, man.
Damn, dude.
My
I hate
family
that.
still is. My sister does it 70 hours a month
God
on top of having a
damn it.
full-time job. Yeah. But I mean,
Well,
like
does she
that's
convert anybody? Like, well, what's the stats?
like less than 1%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it happens, but like it's almost always like someone who just needs community, needs that third place we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always that. It's
Yeah,
always
and
just people that are hurt.
like the study on it is fascinating because it's like they've equated the loss of the third place with the rise in anxiety and depression and like all these things, all these mental illnesses like correlate with the erosion of the third. Like they do the timeline of how these things happened, and then you see the rise in mental health disorders as they progress. It's crazy. Like
Hmm.
it makes you think. It makes you think a lot about like I don't know. There was a movie, Surrogate. You ever remember? Do you remember that movie?
Mm-mm.
So it's a Bruce Willis movie, and like everybody is they live at their house, and they're like gross, laying on this table, and then they like they get under this thing and like connect their brain to an avatar of them, like a real life person.
Oh, I do remember
You remember that
this.
movie?
I
And
remember there was like this hot chick and she's actually like this big fat dude.
disgusting.
I
Yeah,
remember that.
and
That's
I
actually all I remember about that movie is
right,
that scene.
and it's
Yeah.
like because they finally reveal how ugly we actually are at the end.
Yeah.
And you're like, God damn it! It feels like sometimes they're pushing us to that. You
Yeah.
know, we all watch each other. It's like there are girls that just get on fucking TikTok and fart and get 200,000
And they're
views.
making bank.
Stupid money.
Yeah.
Stupid money.
Yeah, man. It's crazy world we live in for sure.
It's like I don't know. And it trips me out because I get up and out, dude. I go work 60 hours a week.
Me too.
Every week.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I struggle sometimes to make it. And this bitch,
I feel you, bro.
this
I
bitch
feel you.
wakes up in her fucking $10 million house, walks to the living room, turns her camera on, and just farts in a bucket. Dude, like
the in a bucket
farts
part.
in a bucket
The in a bucket part.
on live.
Oh man, yeah.
And then motherfuckers are watching that being like $180, $300. Here's my fucking mortgage. Here's the keys to my car. Like,
yeah. And you can't blame her because it's like
I
would absolutely do that.
I'm not mad at the hustle.
Kind of mad at them though. Like you're so
like
far gone that you're paying this girl hundreds of dollars to fart.
There's a lady that makes $50,000 a month farting in jars and selling it. That is absurd. Because I want to know where these motherfuckers are getting the money for this.
It's like Saudi oil money. It's like
it's
like a Saudi.
It's probably like the Taliban.
It's like
because they're like women can't like dude. They're fucking crazy.
Oh yeah, there's a
they're
lot
like,
of
women
repressed.
Can't talk.
A lot of repressed sexuality
I
over
know,
there,
dude. They're all gay. I think.
Yeah, that's a big thing for sure.
Yeah,
they all not
see,
all. A lot of them molest little boys.
I know they do.
It's a thing.
And I'm tired of all these evil gays, man.
The evil gays.
The evil gays, not the ones.
Not the good. Not the good.
Not
gays.
the ones that are like Yas Queen, Pussy, you know, all that
evil
shit.
gays.
Dude. They're great. We love them. Like Mike Pence. Mike Pence
an evil gay.
Is an evil gay. You can't be fucking taking people's rights at 2:00 and then sucking a twink stick at 7 secretly. You can't do that. You know what I mean? And they're just evil gays. Like Lindsey Graham. We know. Stop playing games, dude. The biggest lie I ever saw said on national television is when Lindsey Graham was at a court hearing and he said, as a straight white Christian male, I find what you just said offensive. And I was like, there's nothing straight about you, sir. No, we all see it. Quit playing games.
You think they'd be less evil if they came out? Like that's what's making them evil is all the
Yeah,
repressed.
I think it's the shame.
Yeah.
The shame makes them angry. So they're like, I don't want to be this way. So nobody else is going to be this way.
Yeah. Something I learned growing up in a cult is that
You grew up in a cult?
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's light cult, I guess. It's a cult though. It counts. I'll call it that anyway. Maybe some people find that offensive. I don't think Jehovah's Witnesses are watching the show though. I don't think anyone's watching this show.
No, I mean, it's whatever. This will be a fun archive to find one day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why we clip it up though. We can get you out there.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, I'm totally down for it, but it's like you're saying, man, I'm so tired all the time. It's like I hit one day, I work 6 days a week, and it's like on my day off, I don't want to make clips. I mean, it's gonna be easier because of AI. Everyone's like, fuck AI. I'm like, no, that's making my life easier.
Well, I mean, you can send me the recording too. I can get it clipped up.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
I think we got some bangers out of here. Like
man.
Fucking Lindsey Graham rant.
That was great. That was great. But yeah, the evil gays. What do you think happens after we die? What is the Tibetan Buddhist aspect of that?
Well, I mean, I think I believe in reincarnation. But I mean, I think you get to choose whether you want to come back or not.
Okay. So would the alternative be like nirvana, like become the Godhead, or reincarnation?
Well, yeah, I mean,
is that the options?
Yeah, I mean, nirvana is you getting out of the cycle.
Yeah.
So but you have to reach a level of enlightenment in your lifetime to be able to leave.
I don't know nearly as much about it as you do, obviously, but my understanding of nirvana, like to escape the cycle, is to merge with God, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're either everything or you're this, pretty much.
Yeah. So it's you become one with everything.
What got you on that path?
I had a lot of there's in my mid-20s. I just really reached a point in life where I was very broken and just like I just had a lot of anger about a lot of things, and I was still like actively achieving things, but I was just like a very angry, hurt, sad person, and I felt so much guilt for leaving the church and because like that, my grandmother wanted me to be a preacher. I met with a preacher every Thursday.
Oh wow. Okay, so you're
every
taking
Thursday
steps
for
to do
months,
that.
and
Wow.
then I preached 2 sermons at 14.
Yeah, that's not too far off from how I grew up.
Yeah, and it was like I did the first one and they liked it. They were like, do it again next Sunday. So then I did another 30-minute sermon. 2 Sundays in a row, and like fucking 5 people got saved, came to the altar. It was crazy.
Witnesses don't call them sermons; they call them speeches. But I did some of that too.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why you can get up and do stand up. Why I can do podcasts.
I tell my grandmother I don't want to do it anymore, so kind of ended that. I don't know. My relationship with my family was odd. That I feel like I feel like if abortion would have been more like socially acceptable, I think probably just went on and ended that. That's how I always felt. In the family, they didn't treat me bad. They just didn't really. They didn't really fuck with me like that. I just didn't never knew them. I would see them never, a couple times a year. They were basically just like people that I ate dinner with twice a year for a long time, and they weren't very interested in anything I was doing, or You know,
I'm glad you got community now. That's really important,
yeah,
man.
yeah, me too. It's
Big part of what I'm trying to do is like, because everything is so divided in the scene here. It's like this scene, there's like, if you didn't know, like there's like the Broadway music scene, like cover artists. There's the hipsters on East Side that actually make music. There's the goth rave scene. There's Murfreesboro, which is like a punk thing. And like I'm just trying to like get, and now like the comedy scene, I'm just trying to get everyone together. That's a big part of what I'm trying to do. It's like, because there's no reason for any of that. Like we should all be one. All the artists should be one thing, I think. And there's, I get it. I get it's a little. I do get it's a little different with comedy, like where there's reason, a little bit more reason to be competitive. I get that, but I just wish it wasn't like that. Maybe I'm a little bit idealistic, but yeah,
I mean, like, you're not gonna get everybody. There's too many egos there,
yeah,
dude. Like they're like that's the thing. Like, you gotta understand, man. I know it sounds great what you want to do, and I don't know what you mean by bring them together. Like get everybody to be cool with each other.
yeah.
Like, well, that's never gonna
I
happen.
guess you're right.
Yeah, like
I guess you're right.
to do comedy and to do music, you definitely have to have a streak of narcissism in you.
Hmm.
You know, what I mean, I don't think I'm
Well, I mean,
narcissistic.
all the artists I know are kind of like that.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, there's a lot of ego involved in this. I try not to have an ego about anything because anytime I have, I've been humbled. So I don't. But a lot of these guys, and you've seen it, and the way they carry themselves, and it's real bad in the comedy scene. Like people look down their nose at you like they're funnier than you or whatever. You know, I get or talk shit if you get booked on a show. And people will talk about each other, and it's all silly. I don't give a fuck.
could we?
But I don't
I
think.
mean, let me throw this at you.
Yeah.
Can we bully people into being nice to each other?
Nah, you definitely can't.
Like, if you coming on here and being like you're all fucking stuck up, like if people hear that and they're like, yeah, it is stuck up, will people like change, you
No,
think? No.
no, they'll probably double down on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're actively making it worse right now.
Yeah, dude, comics fighting is going to be happening to
I got you.
but it's sometimes it feels like a TV show or something. You know what I mean?
My life definitely feels like a TV show, man. Like, um, I feel very strongly about higher power. Not so much religious as I am woo woo spiritual, but this is a fucking video game as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, whoever's got my character is fucking drunk.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch, dude.
You son of a
just
bitch.
been running me through it. Yeah. I think it's fucking funny. This is a Sims game. Like if that's what it really is, that's fucking bullshit. You could have gave me a fucking hairline, a bigger cock. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Why did you make my hunchback? Like, what the fuck? I could have a six pack, but you want to make mine addicted to shit. You motherfucker. That's for the creator of the Sims thing. This is real.
Yo, shout out to God.
Shout out
for being
to
a piece of shit.
You motherfucker. If this is like again, this could just be me being stupid, but if this is a Sims, I swear to God.
So the clicky, like fighty, everyone meh, bullshit is like it's more than just this scene, right? It's like it's the whole fucking world is like this. And it feels intentional.
It
feels,
is.
I don't really like, I'm a humanist, as you might have guessed. I'm kind of idealistic. I believe people are good, whatever that means. So like I think this is being put on people. I think we're being divided on purpose. I think we're being made sick, tired, angry, and it's not really people's faults. It's fucking demonic aliens, or it's, if you wanted Occam's razor, it's just greed. It's just power, like politics, like making us like, I'm Democrat, I'm Republican, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim, I'm man, I'm woman, I'm black, I'm white. It's like anything except us together versus authority. Anything that isn't everyone getting united. If because they're scared. They're so all authority is fucking terrified of that, of us all getting together.
Yeah, this we the thing is, brother, is like if we would have done this 10 years ago, it would have mattered. But we're so far gone now. You're like
You might be right. I hope you're wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I am.
I I can't really argue with you.
I mean,
I just
brother,
really
like
hope you're
the
wrong.
guy, the guy that created brain chips and robots is now, and AI robots is now in the government.
What if we fucking killed them? What if we all fucking killed them? Like the 0.1% that controls everything. What if we gunned them down? What if we fucking hung them in the streets like the French Revolution?
That sounds great, but we're not going to be able to do that. Because if we
Why?
go, like,
Why
look,
can't we do it?
listen to me. We have a bunch of guns and shit, and that's cool. That's fucking awesome. But if we really got into it with our own military, they would just drone us to death. They have swarms of these fucking B-size drones that, I mean, they could get in this room right now. They just come right through the window and you have a swarm of fucking B drones that are zapping you. Like, dude, like that's what I'm
See, I
saying.
know you're right. I know you're right.
You
I
know?
know you're right. But if we're gonna do something, it's got to be now because of what you're talking about.
We're not gonna do it. We're not.
Damn, you're bumming me out, man. You're bumming me out. I wish I could tell you you're wrong, but I can't.
Sometimes it's hard to face these things, but the thing is,
So what do we do?
you unplug from the system. You starve it. That's what you do.
Like go off the grid? Like self-sufficiency?
Start because, like, if we don't go to the grocery
Start a
store,
commune?
that's what I'm trying to start teaching people. That's what I'm trying to set up with this farm that I looked at
Dude, I'm
today.
down. I'm down.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to start classes on how to grow things, how to can stuff, how to smoke and cure meat, how to mass produce food. Like I'm doing gardening classes. I'm gonna put a greenhouse out there so I can do year-round stuff, doing flowers. I'm gonna do dinners with the food that we grow, cooking classes. Like I'm showing people how to really like do stuff at their house, like make tinctures for medicinal purposes with herbs, like all this stuff, man. Like that's how, because we can't straight up go to an armed conflict. It's not gonna work out
You're
for
right.
us. But if we slowly start the system, the less money we spend with them, the more we take care of ourselves. So like and control what goes in our body, the healthier we are. The pharmaceutical companies not giving us a bunch of shit. So they're losing money, the grocery store's losing money. You know what
You've
I
thought
mean?
about this.
I've thought about it.
You put some thought into
I
this.
have. Our labor is being used at we use the stuff that we make at our house to sell and trade so we can make money so we don't have to give these companies 80 hours of our fucking week. You know what I mean? Like that is how we win this. That's how we win this.
Take care of yourself. Learn how to
Take care of each other.
not be dependent on them.
The third place I was talking about. That's the third place. And that's how we do this.
Dude, I'm I just met you, but I'm so behind you on this. Like for real.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're having this conversation too, because I think in a small way this does help too. Like what you're saying, even just us working this out right now in a very small way does help, I think. Yeah. You know, and until they Waco us, until they show up with a tank and yeah.
And then we get it till we get got.
Yeah.
But in the meantime,
it's still like pretty much the only thing we can do, right? Yeah.
Maybe not. Who knows? But it's looking that way. So my suggestion is if you kind of understand that inevitably it's going to come to that, what you do in the meantime is what's important. Because like you can go out if you go out that way, you fucking killed it up until you
Right.
had to fucking shoot at the government.
Yeah.
Because it's like I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's getting real weird real fast. I feel like some point,
It's about to break. We all know
yeah,
that.
like
Even people who haven't thought
planes
about it.
crashing. Like we've been under attack for a few years.
Yeah.
Trains derailing, everything's catching on fire. Planes crashing.
It's like because I talk to a lot of different people about this kind of stuff, and something I'll hear sometimes is like, well, violence is never the answer. No one deserves to die. It's like, well, do you believe in self-defense? Because we're actively getting stabbed right now. It's like, I think if someone is assaulting you, then violence is justified. And the trick is making us think we're not being assaulted right now, which we are. And it's like anything you do to those people at that point is absolutely justified. It may not look like them physically stabbing you, but we're all hurting. And it's like, but you're right, man. It's like it's hard to fight against because then what do? You die in a blaze of glory, and then they crack down on freedom of speech. They crack down on guns. There's not. I hear you. I just wish it. I just wish we could solve it. But
With Trump in power. I mean, he's it's crazy what he's about to do. Man. He's about to have us beefing with all of our allies, and then the tariff shit is just so uncalled for and stupid because it's like we can't we can't manufacture this stuff fast enough to where it's not going to severely affect us on the price point. You know, anything that's coming from Spain's got a 200% tariff, so it's gonna. We don't have whatever it is that they're sending manufactured here, so we're just gonna have to pay higher prices because he's trying to show his ass.
yeah, I can't believe.
And we left the World Health Organization, which I mean they're sketchy.
Who?
The World Health
Who?
Organization.
World
Yeah.
W.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
They are sketchy, and like I don't know. It's not. I'm kind of indifferent on that one because I don't. Those motherfuckers.
I fucking hate all of them, man. Left, right, it's all the same bird.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider myself more of an anarchist
Mm.
than anything, but
I'm more of I'm like every day, because one of my best friends, the producer of the show, is also an anarchist, and every day I get closer and closer to that side. But I would consider myself a libertarian, where it's like I do think we need military. I do think we need like some very base things. But every day, again, I'm being whittled down into anarchy. I feel like I'm getting there eventually.
yeah, I think you know, at the end of the day, it's going to be able to fucking be left alone, really.
Yeah.
You know,
No. We can't do that. We can't leave you alone, Matt. How are you gonna pay
or and
taxes?
it's like if it's like I know that I can't be completely left alone, so like if you're not going to leave me alone, I would like to be able to go see a fucking doctor.
Yeah.
You know, like
What's that
if
like?
you got to be in my life, I would like for my roads to be paved. I'd like for kids to be able to go to school and not have to fundraise. You know what I mean? And we're like that's the crazy part to me is like we have all this money that and teachers are making 20,000 a year and they have to do like charity donations for their fucking supplies, and the fact that they're like it's actually denying kids food, like that my taxes are going to that shit. Let them have it, you know.
Yeah.
Like sending all this foreign aid, you know, it's crazy. And people hate, and like I don't hate immigrants that come here. I'm glad that they're able to come here, but you know, I've never looked into this because I just don't want to look into it. But the claim online and what people say about the immigrants coming is they get all these tax breaks, they get all this money and all that. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's hearsay or whatever it is. I know I've worked with a lot of immigrants being a chef, and they're good, fucking honest people, right? And if they are getting those benefits, I'm not mad at them for getting them.
You're mad
I
at the
want the
government
government
yeah.
to give me the same opportunities then. Let them all come and do whatever, but let me get the same shit that they got because I was born here.
I feel the same way.
It's like it's my stance on immigrants and the immigration issue is like I'm never mad at the immigrants for coming here, and there's going to be shitty people that come, right? There's shitty people from America that are
There's shitty people all over.
right, and like I just want my government to work if it's going to be there because I know I'm never going to be able to get them completely out. So if you're going to be here, you need to be efficient and not fucking me.
Yeah, and I wasn't really talking about ousting them because that just doesn't work. But like Fight Club, where they just blow up the banks, like maybe there's a way to like cost them enough money that they have some nerd accountant, they have like some Jewish accountant that's like, well, it's actually going to cost us less money just to give people what they want because they've caused so much fucking damage to us that it would cost less just to give people what they want.
I mean, the thing with banks is if we all just switch to cash.
Yeah. They're trying, yeah, no, you're right. And that's why they're trying to do away with
yeah,
cash.
I mean they're trying to get rid of it because then they can control it. It's all just numbers on screen. If physical, if we switch to like physical, and nobody will do this, right? Nobody likes to. That's another one of those things. It's like it gives people so much anxiety because everybody things real volatile. Like, people aren't walking around with, or have a bunch of cash in their mattress anymore and shit. But if we did that, it would affect the banks because they're not being able to charge fees for transferring. They're not hitting you with overdraft
You
fees.
control your money.
They made like $1 billion. Like I think it was Chase Bank made like $1 billion in overdraft fees last year, which means they took $1 billion from people that had no money.
They're robbing specifically poor people.
Yeah,
that's the only people that's
affected. And they'll also do a thing where they'll charge you if you have under like $40 in your account, they'll charge you a fucking fee.
That's evil. Dude, that's satanic, man.
It's so fucked up, man, because they'll charge you a fee because you don't have enough money in your bank account, which is like
that's so evil.
That's absurd. Because if somebody's got $40 in their account, and that's their only account, they're probably not doing real good.
In my opinion, that's not human. Because me and you wouldn't do that to people.
It's just again,
that's not people. Yeah. I don't know what to call them. They're not human. Pigs is one way to, but I'm beyond humanizing them at this point. It's like you're not a fucking person. And maybe I'd be the same way if I was in that position. You know, like the money's you're making $1 billion to rob poor people, but at that point, I wouldn't be a human. It's like you've become a demon.
Yeah, I mean, those people are just born in families like that.
It's all nepo babies, yeah.
Yeah, it's just they take care of their own and put them in high places. That's what it is.
I like your solution. Just be self-sufficient. Learn how to take care of yourself. That's if you start doing that, I will go to your classes. I will pay you to teach me how to do that. And I will plug the fuck out of it. If you start doing classes on that shit, man, let me know and I'll absolutely try and get the word out as much as possible.
Yeah, that would be great.
I did not expect us to get this serious. Like, I'm like, oh, Matt's funny. This will be a funny time. I didn't know it was gonna be fucking raw as shit. I should have expected that though.
Yeah. It's all, I don't know how to be any other way.
Yeah, it's hard times, man. It's hard times. And you got any ghost stories?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of grew up in Appalachia, so it's full of shit over there.
Yeah.
Just weird stuff in the woods. Heard the name called, all that. Skinwalkers. I encountered some of those, and then when I was out west, I was hiking in Wyoming, and I had some weird shit happen.
Anything you're willing to talk about?
Yeah, so like when I was in Wyoming, I went after work and I was walking on these trails by myself, and I was walking down this trail and I came across this bundle of sticks that had been
a faggot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's funny though. It's right.
Sorry.
It's the correct word. Yes, it was a bundle of sticks.
Also
known as a
faggot.
Hey,
I can at least halfway say that.
You a little gay?
I like to be dominated. I'm not into dudes though.
Oh, so you like being pegged?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
and cool. You know what? Like we were talking about like the evil gays, like being in the closet. I was a lot more angry before I was open about that.
Open about getting pegged?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, that's what I'm into.
Do you like prepare for it, or you just like you're like I'm getting pegged right now, peg me, or do you like do things to like?
Been a while, been a while. Uh, so yeah, if you're any ladies out there,
This guy likes to get pegged.
yeah, facts.
Big facts.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you do a little preparation.
A little preparation.
Now we're talking about pegging when we were talking about, I don't even remember what. Oh, your skinwalkers.
Yeah, we segued into pegging. We went from skinwalkers to pegging.
Hey, any skinwalkers out there that want to peg me, I mean,
Yeah.
you know where to find me.
The bad thing about skinwalkers is they'll like turn into your mom or something. You know what I mean? They're shapeshifters. So they you imagine looking back, your mom's pegging you like an evil version of your mom.
I might come immediately.
Oh my god, dude, this is off the rails.
Okay, I remember how we got here because bundle of sticks. That's how we got
so
here.
I found this bundle of sticks that was like shaped. They were tied up and shaped into like like a little doll. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Made out of sticks.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I was like, that's fucking weird. And I set it in one place. And then I started going down the trail and I went for like a mile and a half and nobody was on this trail. And I kept hearing shit moving around me. And this area is known for the mountain lions. And I was like, I'm being stalked right now. I could feel it, you know? When I came back up the trail, the fucking sticks had been moved to the middle of the trail.
It's like,
and then it got real
Blair
quiet.
Witch Project. That's the kind of thing you're talking about, right? Like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Like I mean,
Yeah.
like, and I was just like, I didn't see anybody when I was coming up the trail. Now somebody could have came and moved it, but it was just like the shit that I was hearing in the woods moving around me, and then like
This is deep Kentucky. Is that
this was in Wyoming.
Wyoming?
This is
Okay.
a Continental Divide trail.
All
is
right.
what I was
All right.
on.
All right.
So I didn't like it started to get dark and I just hightailed it up out of there. And
Shit.
like I felt like something was on me the whole time. And like I kept hearing shit. And it was like it was either a mountain lion or it was but the fact that it's moved in the
Yeah, mountain lion.
that little stick bundle and I didn't see anybody on the trail and I came out the trail to my car. There was no other cars there. It was literally the only one on this trail. I didn't see anybody. So I'm just like crazy shit.
That's wild.
Yeah. There's some other times like back home in Kentucky, like I would hear about shit. But
if you got time, I'm ready for another story.
So another time when I was in Wyoming, I went to a ghost town in the middle of a blizzard at like midnight. It was a full moon, so like when the moon's full out there, it reflects off the snow and you can see. So I go to this fucking ghost town and I'm like walking around because I could see everything and there's a tree line up the way and like there's a wolf that comes out of the tree line and just sits down and is like, I'm probably like 200 yards from him or something, but I could see him and he just stands there looking at me and he looks real fucking weird, like something's off about it. And I sat there and looked at him and he started like walking real funny, like towards my direction. And I just went and got in my car. I was like, fuck this. The wolf seemed fucked up. And there was like, I was waiting for the rest of the pack because I was like, oh, I'm going to see all of them. I was far enough away where I could just get to my car before they got over there. But seeing that shit in the wild is just, you get that opportunity, you want to do it. But
damn,
that motherfucker looked off. So I think, that could have been like a skinwalker. And then when I stayed at my place, I lived in a little tiny house in this reservoir. At night, I would hear it sound like I had footsteps on the ceiling.
More than once?
All the time. And then I would see footsteps outside. And sometimes, and I didn't know if it was mine or if it was somebody else. That's the bad thing about when it's snowing.
Shit.
It's just like if somebody is around and it doesn't snow over it, you fucking know that they've been there, and then that's like worse, right? That shit, man. Yeah, that shit was crazy, dude. It was crazy out there. I went to. They have a place called Atomic City in Idaho, and it's like a place where it was like a nuclear fallout type
Oh, I've heard of
situation.
this. Yeah.
And I went there, and it's kind of radioactive still, but like I wasn't there long, so like it's crazy going there because like they just like literally got they like if we just got up and left, like everything's like there's
Where
a
it was.
fucking newspaper where a cup of coffee was, and like like
Wow.
everything is just left untouched.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
man.
that was a real spooky place. There's a bunch of weird spots out in that
Yeah.
area. Like Diamondville, Wyoming it's a town that's a Hills Have Eyes town. It's fucking crazy, dude. Like there's only about 50 people that live there. At least that's what the sign says. But when you drive through that town, it looks like the apocalypse has happened. Like everything's run down and people are living in these shacks and they're just like gross. And I'm like, and when I got to Jackson Hole, I became friends with the guy at the gun store. He was an ex-cop, like a state trooper in Wyoming. And I was like, dude, you got to tell me about Diamondville because it was about 60 miles south of where I was at. And it was just like literally in the middle of fucking nowhere. And he was like, dude, we used to get calls of people being stranded over there all the time. And we would go over there and we'd never find them. And I'm like, dude, don't fucking lie to me, dude. Don't fucking tell me this guy. He was like, no, dude, I can show you the files. That place is creepy. I was like, God damn.
Shit.
Yeah.
You just go to those places on purpose, just check it out.
Sometimes I would have to drive through them to get to where I was going.
I got
It
you.
was like Wyoming is such an empty state.
Mm.
Like the distance between where people are is hours, hundreds of miles.
Damn.
Like it's a crazy place. Like I visited a cult compound out there
Okay.
in Montana.
I'm listening.
Yeah, that was insane. It's
Wow.
called Church of Triumph.
Okay. What are they about?
They're like a new age type weird cult. It's kind of hard to say, but they're not like super Jesus-y or anything. But they have this
Hmm.
giant compound in Montana, and I stopped in there and sat through one of their services. It was fucking crazy, but um, I found a polygamous Mormon compound at another time.
Whoa. Okay.
Dude, so there's this place.
Yo, your adventures in Wyoming. That's
Oh,
crazy, man.
dude, it was crazy. I had the wildest time there. It was one of the best years of my life, though. At the time, I was real. It was a very hard transition out there because I went out there to work at a resort, and I worked out there for a year, and it was hard, because it was the first time I was thousands of miles away from anybody I knew, and it was just like I was 1 year sober too, so I was freshly sober. I was moving this far away from home and having to make it, but also being in this crazy place that I went and explored everything. And yeah, like I was all over from Colorado all the way up to like Montana, Idaho,
Damn.
Utah, all those places. I was just man, just driving around, seeing all kinds of shit, going different places.
Are you passionate about food too? The way you are comedy?
I mean, yeah, dude, I've reached the upper echelons of that industry, and I think I'm really good at it.
You're a chef. That's yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and I
something.
was like one of those fancy tweezer chefs for a long time, and I taught cooking classes. I mean, that's kind of been those two things. Like I would do these tastings, these 7-course tastings, um, at the chef counter at my old job, and it would be like 18 seats. It was all the only most people that could sit there, and I would cook the food right there in front of them and serve them and tell them about it. It was just a really amazing experience, and I did that for a long time, and I miss that a lot. I miss being able to interact with people like that. The cooking classes is also a really fulfilling thing too, because it's like people would show up, I would teach them something, and you know, they would make it with me, and then they would we would all eat the food that we made afterwards, and it was just like a cool, just bonding experience. Dude, I taught over 2,000 people how to cook
Damn.
in the span of a year and a half. It was amazing. and but unfortunately, I had to quit that company. They were mismanaging their money, and we were going bankrupt. So they did eventually shut down about 6 months after I left. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I don't even want to say their name because
No, you probably shouldn't.
Fuck them. But they don't deserve a plug.
We can talk about violent sedition, just don't talk about where you used to work.
So, I mean, yeah, you just gotta be careful with how you say it.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, you can talk about the overall.
Probably not no, I'm with you. I shouldn't do that. It's not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just people are people.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you looking out for me. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
People can't say words on TikTok because shit will get pulled. Like they have to call porn corn.
Yeah. What I mean,
they're literally changing our language, like our how we say it.
This is part of how I combat it, but I'm with you. It's like it's dangerous. That's not safe to do it.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing is we didn't fight censorship when we could have, and now we're never gonna get it back. The privacy is gone forever. We're not gonna get it.
Fuck, man, you're bumming me out. What?
Your phone can read your brainwave.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, dude, I've said so much shit that it's like I kind of just gave up on like.
Like, have you ever thought of something and you didn't say it out loud and it show up? That's because the camera.
I get two kinds of ads mostly. I get BetterHelp, like motherfucker, go to therapy, and I get National Guard. I swear to God, dude, I've never looked into either of these things, but they're like, dude,
this is what you did to
get on medication, you fucking paranoid schizophrenic, and enlist in the National Guard.
Are you a paranoid schizophrenic?
Yeah, I mean, okay.
You get diagnosed or you
no, that's what I'm saying is I will not go to therapy because as you might imagine, I would have to lie. I would have to lie because they're going to be like, you are a danger not to yourself but others.
You don't have to lie, but you don't have to tell them everything.
Yeah.
You can skirt. You can show them you're in that direction without showing them that you're in
there's
that
no
direction.
point. They just put me on medication that I don't need. It's some bullshit to try and control me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
but I mean, there's things you can do to like take care of yourself. The food.
Yeah. This is cheaper.
What?
Than therapy. You're my therapist, man.
I'm your therapist.
No, yeah, you're right.
Not a therapist. You're good. I'm telling you, like things like exercise and then your diet.
I started seeing a trainer. I never like I've never seriously worked out in my life. I started seeing a trainer probably about 4 months ago. Like I never had any interest in lifting weights, and now it's like the highlight of my week is going to see him because it's really good for me mentally, and also like I do need to be active.
Well, your serotonin is a big part of your serotonin is located in your gut. So doing things like eating clean helps you kind of keep your head focused.
Any tips on how to do that on a budget?
So yeah, just eggs are cheap, but they're good for you. It's clean, and you make a burrito, like just stuff like that. Just eggs have multi-use, you know what I mean? And then like just meat, cheese, some fresh vegetables. I mean, it's just simple stuff, you know what I mean? So stuff like that, just avoiding the processed shit.
Yeah,
I mean, just meat, vegetables, cheese, get good fats, avocados. You know what I mean? Just make those things taste good, and just stay away from the fucking Cheetos and the Cokes. You cut Cokes out. Like I don't know if you drink soda or not.
Yeah,
like,
I drink a lot. I don't do. It's probably even worse for me, but I do like zero sugar stuff.
Cut this shit out completely, and you'll lose 20 pounds in a month.
Okay,
it's crazy.
Just water.
Yeah, water and juice. Yeah.
That's what's up.
And then they take lion's mane extract.
Yeah.
Lion's mane extract with cordyceps. Take those two together, and it's like Adderall without any of the bullshit.
Interesting.
Dude, you're like, it gives you energy, but it's clean energy. You don't crash, and then you're sharp. Like those two, that I take that combo just every day. I'm out now. I got to get some more, but every day, and I'm able to like
Do you get it like fresh or do you get like pills?
Yeah, you get the extract. It's like got
That's
a
what's up.
dropper on it.
Like in the store?
So the brand that I use, they have a booth at the farmers market in Germantown, and
Okay.
they have different size bottles. They have different ones that do different things, and that'll help with
Yeah.
your mental stuff. You want to keep like because like
I do need help with that.
your
Yeah.
serotonin is hooked to your stomach. So if you're eating clean and taking care of what you put in your body and not putting a bunch of processed shit that's going to cause your sugar to crash and all that to where you feel like shit, you know what I mean? And definitely cut these fucking things out. You know what I mean?
This water. Yeah. Water and juice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite poor meal? Like as someone who can cook, if you are broke, how do you feed yourself?
Just some rice and chicken with some
Rice and chicken.
teriyaki sauce. You know what I
And
mean?
eggs, like you said.
Yeah, eggs. Yeah, dude, and that's a cheap one, and you can make a lot of that. It lasts you a few days. Just dump some teriyaki and soy sauce, and add hoisin or whatever to any of that. Throw a couple vegetables in there. I mean, it's fucking great.
Right on.
Stir fries. Get the short grain rice too.
Rice, chicken. What was the other thing you said? Vegetables,
Just some
obviously.
vegetables, mushrooms.
Okay. I'll let you go here in a second, but
You're good, man.
Kali Yuga. What's the Yuga is about?
Huh?
Isn't that a Buddhist thing?
Yugas.
Yeah, aren't we? We're in like the last Yuga. There's like all these
Oh,
eras, right?
yeah, yeah. I
Like,
don't.
what the fuck are you talking about?
No, I didn't understand what you said. Like those calendars, the prophecy shit is always weird because you can fit, and you got to think 200 years ago, shit that was happening around them. They're like, well, this means this. This is the last one of this. Like who the fuck knows?
I got you.
I try not to get too much caught up into that. Like I have a friend that's real into like the flat Earth thing, and my thing is like, who knows at this fucking point, dude? Who knows?
I mean, I don't know shit. I don't know
I
anything
just don't
at
care about
all.
it because like if let's say it comes out tomorrow, they come out and they're like, hey, world, it's the government and the Earth is actually flat. What's going to change? Is my
It'll,
rent still going to be
yeah.
$2,000? It is.
That's how the aliens thing too. So if aliens dropped down in DC, shook hands with Trump, it's like we'll be talking about Ariana Grande the next day. We're talking
Like
about
I mean, really, like that's the thing is like if they came out and said the world is flat tomorrow, and they're like, we've been lying to you. Like what? I don't even know what our reaction.
practically it wouldn't change much.
Like
It
if
would
it,
change my entire worldview though. Like here's all I'll say about this because I've actually debated flat earthers on the show before. Uh, Here's all I gotta say because part of the problem is when people try to refute this, they don't do it the right way. Like people who try to refute flat Earth don't do it right. They're like, well, if you get in an airplane, you can see the curve of the Earth. Like fuck all that. The moon has a shadow on it, and the shadow is circular.
yeah,
Like
I
look at the
guess
fucking moon.
I just don't put it.
Sure, I know you're not like on
I'm
like
just so indifferent on it because
yeah
at
yeah
this
yeah.
point, like they told me it was round. I feel like it is, but fucking who knows, dude?
Yeah.
Everything's a lie.
You know
Like
I'll
when you
believe
get
it.
into the like, you want to go down a rabbit hole, the mud flood shit.
The mud flood.
Dude, look that up later. And like again, I read these conspiracies, all of them, and I just read it, I ingest it, and then I keep going about my day because one thing is for certain, something is happening, and it could be any one of those.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I can't do anything about it.
You know what's crazy, man, is like when I was no longer a Jehovah's Witness, because I was also homeschooled. So when I turned 18 and moved out, I didn't know anything except what I knew.
No.
And I was like really annoyingly atheist for a long time.
Yeah, that usually happens around that time.
Yeah. And then, I grew up, but not everyone gets out of that. But, fuck, what I brought that up for a reason. We were talking about something else.
Conspiracies and something's happening.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. It's like I was really resistant to the Bible for a long time because of how I was raised. But now I'm like, shit, man. Stuff I learned about Revelation as a kid.
Yeah, it's just it's the
Kind
you
of
see
looks
it. Yeah,
weird.
you see it. I know. I think
Yeah.
about that sometimes too, because I'm like, I don't know. Like when it comes to religion, the Buddhist thing feels right to me, but then like I did read the shit out of Revelation when I was a kid, and then I'm looking at shit and I'm like, well, that kind of sounds familiar, but I
Mm.
don't know. Who knows? Again, that's why I
No one
brought up
knows anything.
that's why I
Yeah.
brought that point up earlier. Like somebody in 1783 was looking at world events and being like, well, there's that, and here's that. People have felt this before, you know?
Yeah.
And it's because that book is so ingrained in
Mm.
our society. It keeps us in fear
Yeah.
constantly and keeps us fighting.
We're definitely not the
All of those
first.
books. And it's crazy because it's like the whole it's just insane to me. It's like at the end of the day, that's a fucking human being. You know what I mean? That's a fuck. They just talk to God differently. Why do we gotta blow up their entire neighborhood because they talk to God in a different way than I do? Like, what's the fucking deal with that?
My biggest problem with,
It's and I don't think it's the actual words in the book. It's just these bad people taking the
yeah,
words and warping it to what they feel needs to be done and convincing a bunch of people that are vulnerable to do the things that they want to do out of fear of going to hell
that's
because
what, yeah.
and they've just warped the whole vision of it and it's just insane. Like the fucking Catholic Church, they just dress like wizards and walk around and fucking blow smoke, and they have body parts encased in glass that are called relics, and they're like, "This is a cool thing. Jesus is blessing you because I got this dude's fucking nutsack
Yeah.
in this cross right
The
here.
Apostle Paul's nutsack.
It's a holy nutsack. Bow to it." And it's like when you really break that down, that is absurd.
Yeah.
And then up the street from this holy nutsack, there's a guy starving.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's
it's
like
on the corner begging for money.
the Christian thing to do would be to take
I
care
know.
of
They're
them.
like, oh, we went and saw the fucking holy nutsack today,
Yeah.
but that homeless guy
I
deserves
had to
that.
kick a homeless
You
guy
know what
off
I'm
me.
saying? Like he deserves that. That sinning motherfucker.
Yeah.
He didn't say enough Hail Marys this week, so we ain't feeding him. You know what I mean? I hope you die, you fucking sin bastard.
The point I was gonna make is pretty much the same one. Like my issue with Christianity is none of them have any idea what the fuck they're talking about. It's
Yeah,
like y'all don't know shit about the Bible.
I just don't think anybody knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Everybody has some sort of idea what it is, but we don't really know. We just latch on to one like school of thought and think this is the one that makes me feel the safest, and then they just ride with that.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I feel like at the base of all of it, including myself, nobody really fucking knows. We
Nobody
just
knows
have these
shit, man.
vague ideas. And then like there's so much weird shit about our history that like is not being told to
I
us
saw
properly.
I saw this thing the other day that was like the amount of like misinformation we're getting about what happened in 2020, like COVID. It's like the amount of bullshit we're being fed about what happened 4 years, 5 years ago. Well, at least half of history is fake, right? Like if we can't agree about what happened 5 years ago, like world history is bullshit.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Is like the Smithsonian, like the Vatican has all. The Vatican knows what's up. That's the thing. I
Yeah.
think like if we were gonna do anything like storm somewhere, we need to get in
Storm the
there
Vatican. You heard it
because.
here. Matt West does storm the Vatican.
But no, I mean
He's
just
responsible if anyone does it.
like the basement area because they have all these files down there that apparently have a lot of important information, and I think they should not be holding all that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, allegedly I don't know, the Pope is supposed to be like the last. That's supposed to be the last Pope.
What? Wait,
Yeah. So
wait,
like,
wait, 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 wait.
yeah.
What?
So look, dude, you want to get into some? You want to get into some prophecy shit? So there was a Pope that wrote a prediction of all the popes from like the 1100s to now, right? And John Paul and Pope, which one is he now? The Pope
Mm.
now is the last one.
Francis?
Pope Francis is the last one in his prophecy, right? And he's going to be the last Pope. According to his prophecy. Now we'll see,
Interesting.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Mayan calendar thing.
Yeah, it's the same shit. It's like, well, that's like, I read that and I'm just like, well, it's interesting, and I keep moving because if you think about it too much, it's just crazy.
It'll drive you crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, like, and there's a good chance that
I think about it too much. I think about this shit too much.
You just gotta just know that it's there and just enjoy this for now.
I need to stop thinking about the shit too much, and I need to eat better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, you can't, like, I know way more conspiracies, and I read all of them. I literally do, but I just like put it over here, like, oh, that's a possibility.
It's a process. You're like, okay, and then move on with your life.
Yeah, you have to, because like, if you know something's going to happen, which we do, we can agree something crazy is going to happen.
Yeah.
Until then, I got to enjoy this, because this may not be here. These lights may not be here when that happens.
And it's kind of like you're saying too, instead of like do something right now, just prepare yourself as much as you can.
Yeah, I would just say prepare yourself for big societal change, whether that be us using robots or, you know what I mean? Like, prepare yourself for like when that happens and how you're going to deal with that. Because I know for me personally, if it gets down to where they're like, hey, you need to put a brain chip in your brain to fucking exist, we're going to have to just live that one out in the streets together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about that.
Yeah.
And then if like robots become a thing, I'm definitely not going to be participating a whole lot in a robot-filled society.
Sure.
Will be goddamn. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to, like, the thought of me having to go out somewhere and have a robot cashier or some shit like that, I just don't like that. So I'd rather just be at home and y'all can have your robot time all around me, and I'm going to be on my little spot.
Yeah.
Because I just like, I don't think I want to be a part of society like that. I don't,
It's getting worse and worse and worse. It doesn't seem like.
Well, I mean, Tesla's robots go live to the public in 2027.
Really?
Yeah, and then they're going to be powered by AI. So we got, what is 2025? This will probably be the last robot-free summer that we have this year. And I mean, they're already starting to, you know what I mean?
This episode has been like so bleak yet so wholesome.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't really expecting to get this in the weeds with you.
I'm just man. I'm just always there. I'm just weeded out constantly.
Matt, I really appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely, dude. It's nice talking to you.
I absolutely would love to talk to you again sometime.
For sure, man.
Alice, we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.